I'm really excited about today's conversation with Dan Henry. This guy is a college dropout, has generated over $30 million on the internet. He is the founder of GetClients.com. He has built multiple 8-figure brands. He's an author, he's a speaker, and he's also around people like Myron Golden and Grant Cardone and a lot of your top favorite entrepreneurs.
Listen, you suck. I'm going to help you not suck. Like, you don't know how to make money.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and it's probably because you don't know shit. You don't have any skill. How screwed up is it that I make more money than any doctor on this planet because I just know how to talk?
Wow.
How nuts is that?
That's pretty crazy.
It almost makes me angry.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it shouldn't be that. I want the 1% life. 99% of people do not have the body they want. They do not have the money they want, the house they want, car they want. They don't want it. They want what the 1% have, because only 1% of people have that. But yet they still behave like the 99%.
So Dan, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, bro. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Better now that I'm here.
Yeah, man. You flew in private on a jet to Vegas.
Yep. Leased 501. And I actually flew it because I take private pilot lessons.
Yeah.
So instead of chilling in the back with champagne,
Yeah.
Joe was doing that, and I was up there flying in the right seat.
Yeah.
Getting my hours in. So
That's awesome, man. That's a flex.
Yeah. Well, not really, because I didn't actually pay for it. Whenever I go to places like the reason why I chartered a jet to get here was because the only flight from Florida to Vegas is like Spirit. And I hate flying Spirit.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we'll do a one-day event. I'll teach something. We sold $45,000 worth of tickets.
Wow.
And that paid for the jet, the fuel, the pilot, and the hotel.
Man,
so
it's a different way of thinking.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it with money. I paid for it with offers.
Wow. So. That sounds like something Myron Golden would say.
Yeah, that's who actually gave me the idea.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, why do you? Because I said to him one day, I was like, bro, why do you always fly private? Isn't that kind of a waste of money?
Yeah.
Because I think it is.
It's like 40 to 60,000 sometimes.
Oh, I was on a jet with him once, and he spent 120 on it.
Wow.
And I mean, I get it. It's a baller move, but to me, it's a waste of money. Like, I just flew business class 16 and a half hours from Dubai to Florida, and that was like $4,500. It's like $4,500, and that was great. It's just a waste of money to me. But then he was like, no, dude, I don't pay for it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't pay for it? He's like, I just do something. Like, I say like, hey, oh, that's right. He says, I sell people, $10,000, $20,000, whatever, on coming with me on the jet. So now they're on the jet with me.
Wow.
And they're asking me questions, and they're getting coaching, and that pays for the jet. And so that's what we were going to do. But then we figured out that for us to pay for it, we'd need a bigger jet, and I'd have all these people on. I didn't want to get inundated with questions for 10 hours on a jet. So I was like, why don't we just do an event in Vegas, rent a hotel conference room or whatever, do the event. I take the jet by myself. I don't have anybody bothering me the whole time.
Right.
We do I take one day out of my day, teach, do my thing, which I like to do, and it pays for the jet. Plus then I can get my hours in, because if I had to answer questions on the jet, I couldn't fly the jet. I want to fly the jet. Right.
So. Man, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Not most people could say that they flew a jet from Florida to Vegas, so that's cool that you're doing that.
Yeah. No, it was it's cool to charter your own private jet or whatever, but I leased it. I didn't charter it. It's slightly different.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like you got to handle everything. You got to get the pilot, stop for fuel, plan it, and so it was just fun to fly it myself.
Cool, man. Well, I want to get into something. I know you've made massive success in just many different areas. One of the areas I'm just curious to learn more about. I'm sure everyone that's listening in is kind of like, yo, I need to hear this. What do you think about the speaking industry? How do you think people could get better at speaking? Because I know that's one of your main focuses right now.
Yeah, I just think it's the easiest way to scale your business is speaking. Okay. Because look, I've done it all. All right, like I've done, and I know that this is an entrepreneurial podcast, so I'm gonna just throw out numbers because I figure nobody's gonna get weird about it.
Fair.
I've done $1 million a month with a auto webinar, Facebook ads to a $997 course.
Wow.
I've done $1 million a month with a high ticket sales team, and I've done $1 million a month with speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that the easiest, and when I say easiest, I don't mean the easiest to learn how. I mean the easiest to just have happen, like logistically, is speaking. Because I'll tell you why. When you run enough ads and you're spending enough money on ads to sell $1 million in a month worth of like low ticket products or e-com or something, all day long you're coming up with new ad angles, new ad ideas, you're shooting footage because you have to, because the ads burn out quick.
Yeah,
right?
very quickly.
When you make $1 million in a month with a high ticket product or service and you have a sales team, well, you're dealing with this, you're managing a sales team, you're dealing with people, and oh, my girlfriend was mad at me today and that's why I can't make any sales, and I'm sick and blah blah blah, and all, and look, I was good at all three of these things. I just didn't enjoy the first two, especially the second one. And then when I figured out that if I knew what to say, I could get on a stage and I could pull $1 million out of like 150 people.
Wow.
I was like, oh, and I didn't even have to have a sales team. I could literally just be like, go here and wire me money. And if I did a good enough job, they would go there and wire me money, 20 grand, 50 grand, sometimes 100 grand. And I would deliver them an amazing service or product.
Now, are you referring to an actual stage, or are you referring to like webinars, or?
Bro, first time I made $1 million in a day, it was during COVID, right when COVID hit. I had a live event plan, and I paid like 50 grand to go to a 2-day event that Myron held to learn stage selling. And I've done that before as well. Like, I'll tell you this, I don't know of any course or book that teaches stage selling. You got to pay.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to pay.
Yeah.
And it will not be less than 50 grand.
Facts.
And probably now more, because that was a couple of years. He charges like 200 now or some crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, just the info is not out there, and if it is out there, it sucks. Trust me.
Yeah.
Look, it's not out there. You're not going to find it. This is ninja stuff.
Yeah.
And so I go and I learn it, and then COVID hits, and I said to Myron, I was like, man, I had this event plan, I had all this stuff going on, now I can't do it. He's like, yeah, you can. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just do it on Zoom. I was like, what do you mean do it on Zoom?
Yeah.
I'm like, nope. I'm gonna pitch a $30,000 offer on Zoom. He's like, yeah. So I'm like, all right. So I get one camera, one whiteboard, no slides, in my dining room. Okay. And I do the 2-day event, speak for a few hours a day for 2 days. And on the second day, I made a pitch for the $30,000 mastermind. And I thought I would sell like 4 or 5. And I was going to be 100.
How many people are on Zoom?
158.
Okay.
And I would be totally happy with that. Like, that would have been a good day. 34 people bought.
Damn.
1.2
million. Wait, 34,
no, 1,028,000.
Okay.
I think just over $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, just over $1 million in a day, or 2 days, however you want to look at it.
On Zoom.
And
wow,
dude, I was like, what? And I've done that multiple times now. And I've also done it where I've made like 850.
Yeah.
Worst event I ever had, I made 350, and that's because Tony Robbins decides that he's gonna do his unleash the fucking popsicle within or whatever it is on Zoom because of COVID.
Yeah.
So he breaks Zoom in the middle of our event. We then sign up for GoToWebinar. We don't know how to use GoToWebinar. So we're like, everybody go to GoToWebinar.
Yeah.
So we go there. We don't know how to what any of the buttons do. We can't figure it out. And then Zoom comes back up. Like, all right, everybody go back to Zoom. So it was just this complete shit show.
Yeah.
And we still did 350.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a story. How what was the drop-off rate from having people go to Zoom?
I don't remember, but it definitely cost us sales.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And
So,
it's not the drop-off. It's just the vibe. Like, you got to get people emotionally into it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing all that, it just kills the vibe.
Yeah. No, I remember doing like a webinar jam, and then like my server cut, and then had everybody go to Skype, and that was just
yeah. Look, at that point, it's just like, all right, I make what I make.
Yeah.
Don't stress over it. Just on to the next.
So Byron coached you on how to sell from stage, and you took that and you went on Zoom. So now, like, are you practicing that on Zoom more than like physical stages now?
No,
Or
so like here's what I do now, right?
okay,
Problem I had, and I've talked with Myron about this, because Myron loves it, and I just don't, because the problem is I would do these events and I'd sell out of everything. If I had at one point I had 100 people in a $55,000 mastermind, I couldn't take anymore.
wow,
And Myron's like, "Why don't you do more events?" I'm like, "Bro, how many people you think I can fucking deal with here?"
yeah,
Like, I mean, and I would come up with a $20,000 boot camp, sell that out, like, and I was just like, I don't like this because it works too good,
mm-hmm.
you know. And granted, look, Myron wasn't the only one I invested in. I did a bunch of other. I paid 50 grand to Pat Quinn for 4 calls.
Wow,
Okay, I obsessed. I sat there and watched Zig Ziglar speak. Like I went hard. Like that's why I'm good at it, because I went hard, and so it works so well that it's pointless for me to do it, because if I do it, I'm going to sell out of whatever I do, and then I'm going to be bored for the rest of the year, and then I'm going to have to deal with a bunch of stuff. So I just I wanted to figure out a way to make money, make that type of money without having to fulfill. Because, you know, I'm getting old. I'm 37. I know that's not that old, but I don't want to do this crap no more. You know, like I don't want to be coaching and being on calls and stuff. You know, I made my bag. I bought my mom a house. I bought my dad a house. I did all that. I got 2 houses in Costa Rica. I got houses in Florida. I just bought a $2 million house in Dubai. How much shit do you need?
yeah,
How much do you need?
yeah,
You know, like I'm not gonna be out there killing myself every day, you know, coaching, and it's like I don't need it. But I love speaking. And so I was thinking, like, how do I fix that? So, you know Russell Brunson, right?
yeah,
So I win this affiliate contest. I go and I meet Dan Kennedy as a prize. And
yeah,
Russell hands me this big, thick book. And he's like, "Oh, I bought Dan Kennedy's company, and I found all these old seminars he did. I transcribed and I made this big marketing Bible." And I was like, "Bro, you should sell this thing for like $2 grand." Like, he's like,
yeah,
"No, you can't sell a book for $2 grand." I'm like, "I can." He's like, "No." I'm like, "Yes, I can." You know, so I convinced Russell to let me hold a 3-day challenge, hour a day, called the Write Like Dan Challenge.
wow. You sold that book for $2 grand.
I sold 122 copies.
Dang.
Yeah, he was surprised. And 122 copies for $2 grand. And so I get, now because of that, I obviously got a cut. They run it evergreen now. I get a cut of that. And every month I get a check for doing something once, and I don't have to fulfill.
So that's still running, like,
yeah,
till this day.
So I was thinking about it. I was
Yeah.
like, and I talked to my COO Joe about it. I was like, "Bro, and this is what really did it. We were at FHL. Guy walked up to me, "Dan, I make 500 grand a month, and I bought your $10,000 program. Dan, I make $1 million a month, and all I bought was your $10,000 program." And then we had a $2 million, and then the guy that got me was him and his wife. You could tell they were like still fresh and new in the industry.
Yeah,
Like they weren't marketing geeks, you know. And he's like, "Dan, the only program I've ever bought was your $10,000 sold out courses or digital media coaching. Only one I've ever bought.
Yeah.
We're doing $3 million a month."
Dang.
And I'm like, and I look at Joe. I'm like, "This is bullshit." I'm like, I'm not getting. No, I'm serious. Fuck that. I'm not getting paid enough. 10 grand and you make 3 million a month?
Dang.
Yeah, dude. And of course, I got to keep coming up with products. I got to keep launching stuff. I got to fulfill. I'm like, nah. And then I saw Alex Hormozy, and I'm like, he's like, "I have got nothing to sell you." I'm like, "Yeah, bullshit. Yes, you do." and he, of course, what he sells is he takes a huge chunk of your company.
Yeah.
Which to me, brilliant on his part. He's amazing at framing, because he isn't selling you anything, but he's getting something so much more valuable because he's giving you so much goodwill. And so I saw that and I was like, okay, I don't want to do what he does, but I really like speaking and I love telling people what to say, because I just know I hear your offer, I hear your business, I would just say this and it works. I used to do these 25K one-on-one days where people would come and I would just say this. They go out and make $1 million companies.
Wow.
Laura Porty literally helps us out with our ads all the time, because she paid me 25 grand for a 1-day consult. I told her
Right.
exactly, and she's just done that since then, and she's made millions of dollars, and she's so grateful for it that she's like,
Wow.
anytime you need help with your ads, let me
Yeah.
know. And so I was just like, okay, I need to write people's speeches. I need to basically tell them what to say at their events, and I'll even do the pitch sometimes, and I get a royalty. So we do that with our first client, and there was a mess up with media buying, and so he got his ad account shut down, and he only had 60 people on the first event,
Right.
virtual.
Right.
Still did 200 grand.
What do you think makes somebody sell that type of money or sell that type of volume in an event versus like without your help? Like, what do you think that difference is? Is it just in what they say?
Yeah, dude, it's what you say. Because think about this, right? You're walking down the street, you're thirsty. You see 2 lemonade stands. Lemonade stand on the left says freshly squeezed lemonade. Lemonade stand on the right says yellow water with sugar. Which one do you buy?
The first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
But it's the same lemonade.
Yeah.
So why'd you buy that one?
Just sounds more.
Yeah, it sounds
better. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that lemonade stand chose better words to say to their customer. Think
Yeah.
about this. Every war was started and ended because of words. Every relationship started and ended because of words. Every president, elected or not elected.
Words.
Words.
Yeah.
Words are the most powerful tool or weapon you can wield. And so most people that, well, yeah, what he said was better. No, dude, that's everything.
Yeah.
What you say is
Yeah.
everything. And when I first learned this years ago, you know Billy Mays?
Billy Mays? No.
OxyClean guy.
Oh, yeah.
I used to be a pitchman. One of my
Really?
first sales jobs.
Selling OxyClean.
No. I was selling pots and pans, but it was the company where he got started.
Okay.
My sales manager was his sales manager. So I get this job. It's my first sales job. They fly me up to New Jersey. They train me for 2 weeks, feed me, put me in a house, all this stuff. The gig was we would go to Sam's Club. We'd set up a booth, and we'd do this like cooking show. And it was a pitch. It was this,
Right.
it was a show. And people would buy this incredibly overpriced set of cookware. Well, when I first got up there, I got super nervous. 'Cause, dude, I delivered pizza for 7 years straight.
Wow.
Like, I was not popular in high school or any school. I was not good with women. Like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't have a silver tongue. So I had no confidence going into this thing, right? And I say to him, I said, look, man, I can't do this. He's like, what do you mean you can't do this? And I'm like, they're not going to buy from me. I look like I'm 12, because back then I really did look like I was 12. And I have no confidence. I don't know what to say. And he looks at me, and I thought he was going to give me like this motivational pep talk.
Right.
No. He's like, look, you little shit. We just fed you.
Wow.
And clothed you and flew you up here on our dime. You're going to fucking say it. Or you're going to do it.
Wow.
Okay. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. This is how real life works.
Yeah.
And so I said, I don't think they're going to buy. So he holds up a sheet of paper and he points to it. It was a script that he taught. By the way, I hope I can cuss on it.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Sorry,
No, you're good. You're good.
This is what happens. So
Right.
I tell it
You're
like it
good.
is, So he holds up the sheet, and he says, "Look, we spent a decade and millions of dollars crafting this word for word script. Do you think you're that special that you're the only one that's going to be able to say this and not make sales? You ain't that special. Get up there and say it. Can you say these words?" And I'm like, yes. He's like, then do it. I get up there. Now keep in mind, most money I ever made was maybe $500-600 in a week delivering pizza. Get up there. I say it. And like 5 people buy cookware. I made like $400 in like 15 minutes.
Wow.
In commissions. I made $1,500 that day in total sales commissions.
Wow.
Why?
It's words.
Words. And that's when I realized that when you can learn to master words, you control the world. You can have anything you want in life. Anything.
100%.
100%. And, people will say, well, maybe it would be better. Maybe my sales would be better if I said something different, or my speeches would be better. No, dude. No. If you say something better, it's everything. It's the difference between no sales and you literally having any house you want, any car that you want, any life that you want, in any country that you want. Your mother having any house she wants, your father. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And I'm so strong because I've seen it myself. And I used to hold events before I knew what to say, and I had a brand, I had a following. People flew out. Most I ever made, I had like 400, almost 500 people in this room in person.
Wow.
I made like 150 grand from stage. I had 150 people on a Zoom room during COVID when everybody was scared of them making $1 million.
Yeah.
Yes, what you say friggin' matters.
Yeah, that's really great that you're putting that into perspective, because so many entrepreneurs or people in general just overlook their words. They think they need to look a certain way, they need to have certain, a resume or whatever.
Bro, it's everything. You think Alex Hormozi wears a nose strip just to do it? You don't think, you don't think he knows that that's like a thing people talk about? Like little things matter, and I'll tell you this. Another way to think about it is imagine the guy that is a professional bricklayer, or brick builder, or whatever, and he says, I've been laying brick for 40 years. I got 40 years experience laying brick. No, not really. You have 2 weeks experience laying brick. You have 40 years experience settling for laying brick. Because you see, people think that the people that make the most money are the hard workers. We're taught that hard work makes you rich. It doesn't, because he didn't make any money off that. The guy that knew what to say convinced a group of people over here to give him a bunch of money so he could hire that bricklayer, so he could build that building, so he could then go over here and use his words again to convince a bunch of other people to give him more money for this thing now that it's built. He sat there, didn't have to do jack except talk, made a bunch of money, and the bricklayer's on to the next job, barely getting by.
Wow.
Think about that.
Yeah. That's good.
Because the bricklayer knows how to do all this skilled trades, all this hard stuff. This guy just knows how to talk. Communicators are the people that make the most money. Presidents, authors, speakers, musicians,
singers,
actors. And you don't, how hard it is to learn how to fly a plane? I know. You know how hard it is to learn how to cut into brain surgery? How screwed up is it that I make more money than any doctor on this planet because I just know how to talk?
Wow.
How nuts is that?
That's pretty crazy.
It almost makes me angry.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it shouldn't be that way. But it is that way. So I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. The reason why I do the ghostwriting for speeches is because I've tried to teach people speaking. It's hard, dude. You got to be obsessed.
Yeah.
It's so much easier for me to just tell you what to say and then I get a cut. Because, dude, it's hard. It is freaking hard. Okay? That is like a art level thing.
Yeah.
It's not hard to deliver it. It's not hard to say it once you know what to say. But it's hard to come up with things to say that make people just go, oh my God, here's my credit card.
Yeah.
It's an art.
Yeah, no, 100%. I really do. I see the value in it for sure, because oftentimes when people try to sell on a Zoom or on stage and they don't sell, the person who can sell will come on next and just clear the stage.
Yeah, I do that too. If I don't write the whole speech, I just did that in Dubai. I had a guy, he had an event there. He only had 11 sellable people. He had 15 people, but 11 people that could be sold to. They were in his program. And he's like, hey, man, I got these people here. I didn't know if I should make an offer or not. I want to sell them on my $4,000 a month offer or whatever. Could I give you a cut if you come by and do the pitch? Because I don't know what to say at all. And I was like, yeah. So I went by, I talked for 90 minutes, and I made $36,000.
Wow.
Just to talk for 90 minutes. And I didn't have to deliver anything. I didn't have to do anything. Yeah. I didn't even tell him what to say on the speech. I just did my part.
Yeah.
And that was that. And yeah, dude, it's a skill that I'm very grateful for, that God has blessed me with. I'm not going to say it as a gift because, dude, I used to be the most stuttering, worst speaker. God blessed me with a situation where I was given tremendous work ethic, which then led me to get that through that work ethic. So.
Right. So do you feel like where you're going now is you're focusing mainly on delivering sales through speaking, and you're building yourself through that direction now, or?
No. I mean, we got a couple different offers.
Okay.
You know, man, you got different stuff. You
Yeah.
go through cycles. Speaking's my favorite, but right now we have like a membership site. We got 1,200 people in a $97 a month membership site, and that's Get Clients University. It's just if you have a client-based business,
Yeah.
we just give you a lot
Yeah.
of support on getting more clients. And then we're launching a AI software in the next quarter for newbies, for people who want to start a marketing agency, but they don't want to learn marketing, or at least they don't want to need to learn marketing right away.
Yeah.
We basically took all my marketing data and marketing frameworks, and instead of using ChatGPT's data, we use our data from the last 10 years, so it's proprietary, made a software. And so now if you ask that software to write you an email, you're going to get something way better and more usable than ChatGPT. So we're going to be offering a program where you can get started, you can make money online using that to deliver marketing services, freelance writing, without having to go and spend years learning how to do it yourself. And then my hope is that they'll want to learn.
Right.
You know, and then of course the third thing is just me doing our ghostwriting for speeches and pitches.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Like, you've made millions of dollars online. You've kind of been through different areas of the online space, fulfilling, non-fulfilling, like selling for other people, all this different stuff. Like, here's a question that I just really wanted to ask you in the beginning, but I'm just going to ask you now. Yeah. Like, out of your entire experiences, and you're 37, so you said earlier you're kind of winding down and you don't want to fulfill no more. And you're
that's why I do software, membership site, and ghostwriting, because all those three things are very low fulfillment for me.
So, like, do you feel like where you're at now, you just have this wisdom of the experience, like, this is the better way to make money online, is to position yourself where you're not fulfilling what you're selling? Is that the best position?
No, because look, that's like saying, hey, I'm a professional bodybuilder and I bench 350 pounds. You, 220-pound skinny guy, throw 350 on the rack and go for it. You're going to tear your shoulders off your body. The truth is that you're not going to get to that point until you got to pay your dues. Yeah. And for me, I paid my dues by being that one-on-one coach, doing the one-on-one calls, doing the group, graduating to doing group coaching, graduating to do masterminds. The more credibility and authority and results you get, the more you learn, the easier it is for you to get the same results with less touch, right? Because now, like in the beginning, I had to sit there and really work with you to get you a result. Now I can just be like, I can listen to your bullshit and be like, oh yeah, say this. And it's not because I'm any better. It's just I've done it so many times and I've heard. You can't give me an offer I haven't heard of yet. Yeah. You just can't. And everybody thinks their offer is special. Everybody thinks it's not. It's the same shit. There's health market, wealth market, and happiness market. That's it, bro. You're either teaching people to get rich, jacked, or bump uglies. That's it. It's three markets or some version of that, right? I want my wife back. Same offer as I want to find a girlfriend. Same offer as I want to save my marriage. Same offer as I want confidence. It's all the same shit, okay? It's just the frame. And so they're all sold the same. And if you don't realize that, then you don't know how to sell, okay? And so once you do this, I mean, in my mastermind, I did a call a week for 5 years. I heard every problem there is. So I'm not better than anyone. I'm not more talented than anyone. I've just sat
Just put your reps in more.
I put in more reps.
Yeah.
I put in more mat time.
Yeah.
I do jiu-jitsu, so we call it mat time.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It teaches, because like, think about this, right? If I was trying to strangle you, you would be nervous, right?
Yeah.
Well, when you do jiu-jitsu, people try to strangle you every day. And you get to a point where you're getting strangled and you're completely calm. And you're just like, all right, well, let me see if I can curl the fingers out. Well, let's see if I can grab his knuckles. Oh, nope. Okay. Tap. Right. Whatever, you know? And it's the same thing with business, because if you come to me and you're like, oh my God, Dan, we got this huge tax bill. Oh, my staff just, oh my God. Like, we got to launch an offer. Like, oh my God. Like, I've already been through that myself, and I've already coached people through that. And so I'm like, yeah, I get it. Do this. And like, you're freaking out. So you're going to make terrible decisions, right? Oh my God. Or even if you're not in a bad spot, you're like, I'm hungry. I want to make all this money. Yeah, you're still emotional, dude. You make terrible decisions. I've already done that shit. I'm old. I got the t-shirt, right? So now I'm hearing your thing, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, you do this. You know, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro.
So you take away the emotion, you just go straight to
I
the
don't have the
solution.
emotion because I've already done it 10,000 times.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
that's what you do for other people. Like they come to you with problems and they're emotional.
Well, I just am able to see it clearer because I'm
Yeah.
not emotional about it. I'm experienced and I'm standing 10 feet away.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like golfing, right? Have you golf?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know how like if you have a flaw in your swing, you're
Right.
holding the golf club, right? Like even if you have a golfer who is not as good of a golfer as you, but they're standing 10 feet away,
Mm-hmm.
they can see.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, my foot's off or my shoulder. You can't see it because you're too close to it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't take your eyes, pluck them out of your head, put them on a spike, and look at yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. The perception's not there,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't fix your swing. A lot of times when I used to golf, I would record myself, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing that. Done. Fixed."
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that in business. What do you do? You can't record.
Yeah.
You know. So with business, it's like when you have, or speaking or whatever, when you have somebody who's looking at you, like, oh, you're freaking out. Oh my God, I keep slicing into the woods.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just like, your foot's off.
Yeah, it's a 2-degree shift that creates the biggest difference.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't see it. You're too close to it.
Yeah, it's like a fish can't really see the water it's swimming
I'm the same way, bro.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I have problems in my business. I'll call one of my 8-figure buddies and be like, hey, man, that I like just that last week. They're like, Dan, what am I doing wrong? I'm like, bro, look. And they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll call them and I'll be like, bro. And they'll be like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, oh yeah. You know, because you can't see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So.
which is why it's so important to invest in people way more successful than you, like yourself, to
Yeah.
other people, because that 2-degree shift makes a huge difference. And
Sometimes, but when you really pay your dues in the industry and you do
Yeah.
a lot, you get to the point where you don't have to invest anymore because you just done so much that you can call other people that have done much and
Yeah.
they'll just answer the phone.
yeah,
And that's been like, I've got to talk to people and meet people. And I was hanging out at Grant Cardone's house.
that's dope.
Playing, fucker took $2,200 from me in backgammon. One chip, dude. One chip away. I almost beat him. But you know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point, you do enough, you earn your spot, and I still pay for stuff.
Yeah.
You know? I just hired a pro YouTuber, paid him $50,000. He doesn't have a coaching program for it. He's just good. I said, can I pay you $50,000? Just answer the phone. You know, and because I'm really trying to invest in YouTube right now. Yeah, it's just a game, man.
Well, let me ask you this: do you feel like the relationships you built came with your credibility in the space, or came from you investing into yourself, into other people's programs?
Well, I invested in myself, and then I got the credibility. And here's the thing: here's the funny thing. You don't really need to invest that much money most of the time. I remember when I bought Russell Brunson's $7 book. .com secrets, and I did what was in the book, and I made like $100,000 with webinars, and then I bought his $30,000 mastermind, and nothing in there was any different than the book.
Wow.
It was just a bunch of people who didn't want to do what was in the book and needed Russell to be like, yeah, you should do what's in the book, or they wanted to hang out with Russell. You know, and that's most masterminds. People just they can't accept the fact that the answers are there,
Right.
and they get too much, so they need to like pay all this money to go to the event for them to be like, yeah, it's in the $2,000 course you bought.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like I remember I was doing crazy numbers, and then I started getting fancy and getting bored and releasing all these different products, and I went from $1 million a month down to I went from like $250 a month down to like $70K a month.
Wow.
Like, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, I got to invest now. See, I don't think you should invest when you're making money. I think you should invest when you're broke, because that's when you need the most help. You know?
What was the difference between 250 to 70, then going back up? Like,
Well, I'll tell you. So I go to Sam Ovens' mastermind, right?
okay.
And he's like, you know, I'm thinking, okay, I spent $35,000 on this. This is a big deal. I'm gonna learn some ninja stuff. First 3 hours, he's like, you should not eat dairy, because dairy clouds your mental focus. None of you eat dairy, do you? And I'm like, I paid $35,000 for this New Zealand bastard to tell me this. And but everybody was like locked in.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I haven't eaten dairy since that day.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't do dairy.
Sam sold you on the vegan diet, or
Bro,
a non-dairy
look,
diet.
Look, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
If you eat dairy and you eat sugar, you're costing yourself money.
So you don't do sugar either?
No.
Wow.
Why would I consume something that affects my ability to think, which makes me my number one tool to make money is my ability to think. Sugar and dairy and bad food and fried food and alcohol literally make you think shitty.
Right.
Like I'm just costing myself money. And people, oh
Wow.
no, I just need to learn this webinar. No, you want 1% shit, but you want to behave like the 99%.
Damn, that's a
Yeah,
bar.
like, like it's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're lying. Oh, I want to make $1 million a month, but you don't go to the gym. You get up at 9 a.m. instead of 5. You eat crap. You don't read books. You don't. You're lying to me, to yourself. You're wasting my fucking time. You're not about it. I don't want to hear it. You're not about it. Okay, I don't like helping those people. I like more helping people that want to like quit their job. That was my favorite people to help because they were realistic. Like, look, man, I just want to quit my job. I'm like, okay, you don't have to give up dairy and be a friggin' meditating guru at 5 in the morning to do that. That's fine. But you're telling me you want to make $1 million a month and you live like an asshole? Like,
Yeah.
no, I just don't even like you now.
Wow.
Because you just think it's that easy. It's not, dude. It's not. I dedicate every day. I practice my craft, right? Like, what is this water? This is Proud Source spring water. It's alkaline. Okay. Why do I occurring minerals and electrolytes? Why do I care about this water being alkaline?
Because it helps you think better.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it makes your body in an alkaline state.
Okay, so what does my body being in an alkaline state make? Like, what does that do for me? Why is that a thing?
It makes you more healthier.
But why? What is the mechanism behind alkalinity and me thinking better? Do you know?
I don't, honestly.
Okay, so I'll practice, right?
Okay.
I take every opportunity to practice. So, is your income determined by how clear you can think? Will you make more money if you feel better and think better? If so, I want to talk to you about Proud Source spring water. Now, why is this water going to make you money? It's because it's alkaline water, and it's going to put your body in a more alkaline state. Now, why is that important? It's important because when your body is in an alkaline state, these things in your brain happen, whatever, and you are actually able to think clearer. So, yes, this is the only water that will make you rich.
Wow.
Okay, like I just practice little bits like that.
Yeah.
My whole day, if I go into a bar, well, I would never go into a bar. I don't drink. But if I go into like a coffee bar or I go into a restaurant and I talk to a waitress, I'm always pitching them on something. I'm always making sure the first sentence that I say is something that hooks. I live, breathe, and shit this every day. I get up at 5. I eat clean. Why? Because I want the 1% life. 99% of people do not have the body they want. They do not have the money they want, the house they want, car they want. They don't want it. They don't have it. But they want what the 1% have, because only 1% of people have that. But yet they still behave like the 99%. And I learned this when I met. Remember the company I worked for, the
pots and pans.
The guy that owned that was a billionaire. Did I tell you this story?
No.
Legit billionaire. And what he would do is, he's a very nice guy. He would buy lunch for the whole company every day, and he'd go and he'd sit around. He'd sit with different people every day. And one day I got to sit next to him. And he says, I say to him, Jeff, I say, how do I get rich? I want to take care of my family. How do I get rich? And he says, well, how many books per week do you read on business and money? I said, none. And he goes, well, then you don't want to get rich. I said, no.
Wow.
What do you mean? I do. And he's like, no. People that want to get rich read books on how to get rich. You're wasting my fucking time.
Wow.
And dude, that was the biggest lesson to me. That was the biggest lesson. It's like we want to have nice things, but we never want to become the person that deserves them. You know
That's a
what I mean?
bar. Yeah.
We're not human heavens. We're human beings.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to get my wife back for 5 years. We got divorced because I got too obsessed with business, and tried to get her back for 5 years. Couldn't, and it was because I was trying to scheme my way into it, right? And never did it occur to me to become the person that deserved to get my wife back. And one day I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm doing the same thing that I like tell people not to do about making money. You know, I wasn't being about it. And so I was like, all right, cleaned up my life. And this comes from, you know, when I was divorced, man, I went hard. I had a $2 million yacht. I had 15 girls on it, partying, drinking, that life that every man dreams of or supposedly dreams of. And every day I'd go home and I was depressed and I was just miserable.
Wow.
And
How long ago was this?
a few years ago.
Okay.
I lived that life for like 2 solid years. I mean, bro, I don't even want to tell you. It's
Yeah.
inappropriate to even
Yeah.
scratch the surface on that life. You know, it was nuts. It was like Jordan Belfort level or more.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Though I didn't do a lot of hard drugs. I just never was into drugs.
Mhm.
Women and alcohol, you know, and parties and high end stuff. And one day I just woke up and I'm like, I'm gonna quit drinking. I poured $10,000 worth of alcohol down the drain. Took me 4 hours.
Wow.
Cut off all my friends that partied. Stopped hanging out with females. And I just started living a different life. And then I kept asking my wife. Asked her 314 times. And
Wow.
314 times she said yes, and we've been remarried a year now. Just bought a house in Dubai.
Man, that's awesome to hear. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
I'm sure that was a journey.
Yeah, it was. And look, same thing with making money. Same thing with health. Perfect another example. I gained 30 pounds of muscle, but I could never get lean. Could never lose weight. I was always kind of fat. So I said, all right, there's something going on here. Like I got my diet on check. I got everything on check. I said, I got to figure this out. So I hire a pro bodybuilder that like preps people for stage. I'm like, well, if this doesn't do it, you know? So I hire him and I'm like, just tell me what I'm doing wrong. And he's like, all right, well, what are you eating? I'm like, oh, I eat super clean, right? And he's like, do you eat fruit? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, fruit's for fat asses.
What?
I'm like, what do you mean fruit's for fat people? And he goes,
Wow.
dude, it's sugar. I'm like, but it's fruit. It's natural. He's like, that doesn't matter.
Mm.
It's still sugar. Yeah, maybe it won't give you cancer, but it still make you fat. It's sugar, dude. Look it up. And he like shows me. He's like, this orange has like a gazillion grams of sugar. What do you think happens to sugar? It turns to carbs, it turns fat. You can't eat fruit. And I was like, whoa. So he puts me on this diet. And you're not going to believe me when I say this, but I have pictures to prove it. And it happened to Joe as well. He's like, in the morning, you're going to eat chicken and egg whites for breakfast. Meal 1. Next meal, you're going to eat chicken and broccoli. Next meal, tuna and broccoli. Next meal, chicken and broccoli. Next meal, tuna and broccoli. You know what your dinner is? 6 egg whites. You're going to do 45 minutes of cardio every single day, and you're going to lift 4 to 5 days a week. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, that's what bodybuilders do, asshole. They don't sit around and go, oh, I had fruit. Oh, it's just one. Oh, I'm just going to have some grapes. No, bro, no. They don't do that. They eat chicken and egg whites. They do cardio, and they lift weight.
Dang.
And they drink 1.5 gallons of water. Why do you think they get up on stage? Those are 0.01% men up there.
Wow.
You think they eat fruit? No. Okay? They don't. And I was like, oh, shit. And I realized again, I was not being about it. I was not doing 1% shit.
Wow.
And so I did it. I lost, what was it, 5 weeks? 25 pounds.
In 5 weeks.
In 5 weeks. I got pictures to prove it. Joe sees it and goes, bro, I get him hooked up. What would you, first week or two, how much was it? He lost 18 pounds in 2 weeks.
Following that diet.
Same thing.
Y'all still keep up that diet? Or?
Do I look fat?
No.
Yeah. Now, it's hard when you're traveling.
Yeah.
But I got so lean that when I travel, I just try to not gain weight.
Okay.
And I'm fine. And then when I get back home, I'm good.
So 5 meals, chicken and broccoli.
6 meals.
6 meals. And then 45 minutes of cardio, 45 minutes of
I do
lifting.
an hour sometimes.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It's not the diet.
Okay.
If you're the type of person that can stomach eating chicken and egg whites for breakfast every day and 6 egg whites for dinner and doing cardio, you deserve to be ripped.
Mm.
If you're sitting there eating fruit and, well, I'm just going to have one piece of cake, well, then you don't deserve to be ripped. The end. Oh, well, it's just one. Oh, well, I'm going to eat rice because it's rice. Nope, you don't deserve it. Sorry, you don't get to be ripped. That's all it is, dude. Oh, I'm not going to read books every day on getting wealthy. I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm going to get up at 8 a.m. instead of 5, and I'm going to cut out 3 hours of work. Oh, I'm going to still go out and hang out with chicks and drink here and there, but my wife, who doesn't want me to drink at all, who, wants to live a wholesome life, she'll be fine with it. No, you don't deserve your wife back. You don't deserve to be ripped. You don't deserve to be rich. You deserve to be poor. You deserve to have a relationship you hate, and you deserve to be a fat fuck.
Which sounds like most people.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they want 1% shit, but they behave like the 99. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not trying to criticize them because I was that guy.
Mm.
I can say this because I was that guy on
Yeah.
all three of those things. So when I say this, it's like I'm talking to myself, like, hey, moron, like you could have done this 5 years ago. You could have done this 10 years ago. The first book I ever read on marketing, I made $100,000 the next month. And I was like 27, 28. You imagine if I would have done that when I was 21?
Mm.
You know how much money I cost myself by just not being about it?
Wow.
I would smoke weed and play Tekken 2 until 3 a.m. It's an expensive video game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I can say it because I lived it. I was that asshole, you know? And it's the same thing. And look, there's a limit to it, right? Like Steve Jobs said that it wasn't worth it on his deathbed because he went crazy. But he also created the most valuable tech company of all time. So
Yeah.
he's washing his feet in Apple toilet bowls and wearing the same shirt every day for 3 months. Like, there's a limit, man. You know, like, come on, let's get real here. You know, there's, you know. But again, I've worked with people who they just want to make 10, 20 grand a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. Then you don't have to freaking get up at 5 a.m. every day. Like,
What you're talking about, if you want to be in the 1%,
yeah,
you got to do all
1% is 80 grand a month.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like 83 grand a month.
That's 1%? I think
You're
it's
in the
way more than
1%
that.
if you're at 83 grand a month. Or no, it's 40. Hold on. Maybe it's 40 grand a month. It's not that high.
So it's under $1 million a year is 1%.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you believe that most people who are in, because I personally know a lot of people who make way more than that, but don't have these disciplines you're talking about.
Yeah, I was one of them, and then I lost my wife.
Mm. So it's like an unbalanced, like you have all this money
Yeah,
here, but then you're losing
it's a
everything
sprint,
over here.
and then you trip and fall, and your
Yeah.
knees smash into your face, and your teeth fall out. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think more of this needs to be spoken about, man, in the entrepreneur space because it's these are the truths that no one wants to talk about.
Because
but
everybody's
who
got
are,
something to sell you.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't need to sell you anything. I'd like to sell you some stuff. I would like to make more money, but I'm good. Like, I don't need to. So I don't need to like lie. And I never really was like that anyway, you know? But the truth is, like I used to say, I had a biz op when I first got started. We did 10 million with it. And people were like, you're going to get chargebacks and refund complaints. I didn't get hardly any. You know why?
Why?
Because I was kind of a dick to you before you bought. I was like, listen, you suck. I'm going to help you not suck. Like, you don't know how to make money.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and it's probably because you don't know shit. And you don't have any skills. I'm going to teach you a skill that's going to make you money. But it's going to be hard, and I want to hear you bitching. So don't buy this if you're going to bitch and moan and cry and complain. Because that's what got you here in the first place, you know? And by the time I said that, if people gave me money, they were in.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that to somebody, then they buy, and then they complain.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? So I was just extra brutally honest with you. And some people got pissed about it. Whatever, that's fine. Not your vibe. But by the time they bought, you know, I was like, listen, this is not easy. It's hard. But I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you by giving you a lot of help. Or you could go back to living a mediocre life. What do you think? And I just had a very low, and I had good products. I had great products. Like, I think that's what's helped me in the industry, like really get a lot of respect from people. It's not how much money I made, and I've made a lot of money. It's the fact that I've always
delivered,
even though because most guys, they don't. They just throw some shit together. They make millions of dollars.
Yeah, and the products are mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always really obsessed over making my stuff good. Like, if my students wouldn't get results, I lost sleep over it. Like, I would freak out about it. And I'd be like, all right, I got to redo this. I got to make it easier and clearer. And like, I would obsess over it. And I think I made less money because of that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you focus, you only have so much attention, you know, and if you put too much attention on the quality of your product, you don't put as much on promotion. But I still made a lot, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, man, I appreciate you breaking all that down. A pattern I see in people like you who've made a ton of money, a ton of success, everyone's moving to Dubai. Why Dubai?
Here we go.
You're waiting for this question.
I'm too old to just not be friggin'. I'm not even that old. I'm just like tired. Like, look, dude, it's better than America, okay? Every problem that you could think of is solved. You need a doctor. They're at your house in 10 minutes. You can get a maid and a driver for $1,000 a month. It's illegal to be rude. You can't flip anybody off. You can't curse anybody out. So everybody's nice. There's
Wow.
no alternative lifestyle stuff being shoved down your throat. Nobody's taking rainbows and shoving them up your ass, out your mouth, and working it like this when you just want to live your life in peace.
Yeah.
Nobody's, nobody's telling you what to think or what to do. They make business easy. You can buy anything with crypto. It's just easy. There's no friction,
Wow.
right? You don't need a prescription for a lot of stuff. They don't, you go into the pharmacy, you're out in 5 minutes. You're not waiting. It's just better, dude. It's just better, okay? And I made a lot of money when I was there because I made amazing connections, a lot of opportunities. And my wife was happy there. Nobody harassed her. It's way safer than America by far. There's no crime. To me, it's more free than America because you can't do certain things, but the net gain from that is freedom in other ways. My wife has the freedom to walk down the street at 2 a.m. and I never have to worry about it. That's freedom. I have the freedom to send my kid to school. They're not going to say that, hey, oh, you had a bad day today, son? Maybe you should be a girl. Nobody's going to do that there.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that
Yeah.
there, And so it's your perception of freedom. And I'm very grateful for what America did for me. But have you ever been to a party where it was dope and then somebody comes in and just ruins the whole party?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the party got ruined here.
Yeah.
Okay? It got ruined. All right? I'm not mad at America. I'm mad at the people that screwed up America. And I'm bouncing. That's what America was founded on. We were like, hey, British people, we don't like the fact that you're telling us what to do and you're taxing us too much. So we're going to go do our own thing. America. And then now we have America and they're like, yeah, we're going to tell you what to do, how to think, and we're going to tax you to death. And now it's like, all right, well, nope, I'm going to bounce. Oh, you're un-American. Nope, I'm more American than you. I'm out. Peace.
So are you completely moving everything to Dubai and relinquishing your citizenship?
I wish, bro. Okay, here's another analogy for you. I invite you to my party.
Yeah.
It's dope. And then it gets crappy. And then you want to leave. I say, yeah, you can leave, but I want half the money in your bank account.
America takes half your money when you leave?
Yeah, it's called an exit tax. They don't only do that. They value every company that you own, every car that you own, every house that you own.
They take half of all that.
They put a cash value on it and they take half of that.
What?
Is that freedom?
That sounds like a prison, man.
Yeah, it's the opposite of freedom. America is not free. America is good at selling.
Wow.
Which, to be fair, I learned most of what I know about marketing. And
Well,
selling
let me
from
ask you,
America.
over time, if you were to, let's just say you were to pay that 50 today, do you think that's a better move if you're not going to come back? Over time, you'll make more
50,
money?
bro. Most of my stuff's in real estate and.
Well, you have to pay immediately. It's not like you pay over time.
I didn't go down the rabbit hole that far.
Okay. Got you.
But, yeah, they don't just take half of your cash. They value what you have and take half of that. Nobody keeps half their net worth.
Oh, so they make it almost impossible for you to do.
Of course they do. And then they interrogate you. Why do you want to leave America? It's so great here. Aren't you just really so excited about the terrible food, the terrible medical care, the crazy taxes, the horrifying social structures, the schools that teach your kid to be a weirdo? Aren't you excited about that? Why would you want to move to a place where people are nice and there's less taxes and there's good food and there's good medical care and people care about human life? Why would you want to do that? You must be a terrorist. They friggin'
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I know a guy that did it. They interrogated him for 3 years.
3 years.
Yep, they would call him in and dude, that's not
wild.
a joke. So that's what we say to me, if you can't leave, well, that's not freedom. That's the opposite of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you dig the founding fathers up. You put them in a room. You explain this stuff to them. You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna be like, "I'd leave too." like they did not want this.
Yeah.
They did not want this. This is not what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's why Dubai real estate's crazy right now. People are moving to Dubai. And look, I lived in Costa Rica for 2 years before Dubai, and I love Costa Rica. I just don't. It's too slow. People don't care about money there, and maybe I'll move back there when I'm old. But I want to move, and Dubai is fast.
Yeah,
they're nice.
fast-paced.
They're fast. Good medical. I mean, I'm trying to think of something to complain of. Well, they're a little agreeable, so they'll tell you they can do something when they really can't. But that's a lot of foreign countries. That's one thing I like about America. No, I can't do that. Sorry. I like that about America. But Yeah, that's why people are moving to Dubai. You go to Dubai. There's an old saying. It's Habibi, come to Dubai, right? You go to Dubai. I promise you, or even Qatar or Abu Dhabi, you're not gonna want to come back to the States.
Wow.
I'm just being honest. I know so many people who've gone.
Well, I
to
mean, I
Dubai.
travel a lot outside the States.
Have
And
you ever been to Dubai?
never been there, but
Almost every person because you said because people what they'll do is they'll be like, oh my god, don't they cut your hand off in Dubai if you steal an orange? No, they don't. No, they don't. That's American propaganda.
yeah.
Oh, don't they make women wear hijabs? No, they don't. There's hookers walking down the street in Dubai.
Wow.
They're just respectable hookers. Okay. Just sorry. What? Sorry, Joe's like, no, don't say that. I'm just being honest, right? There's Americans are full of shit. They make things up. Oh, they cut off your hand. They're oppressing women. No woman, like, I asked that. Like, I've got tons of westernized female friends there. None of them feel oppressed.
Wow.
That's all American propaganda. It's all crap. It's all BS. And why? Well, of course they're saying that. They want you to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You go to Dubai, I promise you will not want to come back here.
Wow. I mean, everybody who has been to Dubai, who I've asked on this podcast, says the same thing.
You can't
Yeah.
explain it. I can tell you about
Yeah.
it.
You just have to experience it.
Because when you get there, you're going to go, this is what life could be like.
Yeah. But
Like-
don't you have to have a certain net worth to live there?
No, that's the great thing about Dubai is you can, I mean, I guess if you're homeless, you know,
Yeah.
but they have options. You can live baller or you can live cheap. You have options. Like you can have a $10,000 dinner there or you can have a $20 dinner. Food's actually pretty cheap there.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff's cheap there. Okay. How much would you pay for a thing of water that's this big?
Here, probably like $15.
Yeah, it's 50 cents in Dubai.
Water's 50 cents.
A big ass thing of water. 50
That's
cents.
crazy.
Yeah, so like the real estate is high.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a Lamborghini, but you don't have to have a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know? You don't have to. Like
That's interesting.
you don't have to, man.
Yeah.
But also there's no tax.
No tax.
No. There's no personal tax there. There's no they got like a 9% tax, but there's ways around, you know.
Yeah.
It's corporate tax, but you can get around that. So you save all this money from not paying taxes,
Yeah.
and then you reinvest that into the city because you're doing more commerce with people in the city because you have money to do that, and now the city grows. They've done more advances in 50 years than we've done in America in the last friggin' 200.
Wow.
And it's because we tax people to death. We bleed people. We bleed them so that we can stuff politics. Like, why do you think people in Congress are exempt from insider trading laws? You think they just did that for what? Like,
Yeah.
That's a big deal, dude.
Yeah.
They didn't just do that for nothing, okay? But in Dubai, they take the reverse. It's like, no, we're going to let you make all the money, and we're going to let you spend it on Dubai, and then Dubai grows.
That's
Right?
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you breaking all that down because a lot of people who I'm listening to were commenting or ask them about Dubai. So there it
bro.
is.
I mean, you could ask me anything you want about Dubai,
Yeah.
and I'll give you the straight up,
Yeah.
good, bad, ugly, in between.
When do you move to Dubai full time?
So I left my wife and kid there.
Okay.
She's getting the house ready.
Oh, you already got the house out there.
Oh yeah. Bro,
Nice.
I don't mess around, right?
Yeah.
She is looking at furniture right now. She is, getting all that, and she loves that. So let her do that. I got to speak at Russell's event. I'm doing the pitch at Russell's event. I had these planned. I think we got one more event. I don't know. Joe knows the thing, but he keeps me sane, man.
I feel that,
I'm a
man.
mess. He keeps it all together. And so I had commitments.
Yeah.
So I came back to do that, and then I go back in I think 6 weeks or something like that.
Got you.
Plenty of time for her to get her
Yeah.
thing going and get the house ready, and then
Yeah.
so
That's awesome. Well, I want to ask you an ending question. Definitely wrapping up right now. So the ending question is this: if you were to, God forbid this happening, but like everything Dan Henry completely gone,
yeah.
except for one piece of paper framed in the Hall of Heroes for the rest of eternity, what would you write on that piece of paper?
Is the piece of paper instructions to myself on how to make more money?
I mean, it's the piece of paper, I guess, is like the last message from you for everybody.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would make, you know what it would be? It would be a list of instructions to my son, which I think would apply to everybody. It'd be like, here's how to not screw up a lot of things that you're probably going to screw up. Here are principles, right? One of the first things I would write is boring is better, right? Boring is always better. I'll give you a couple of examples. When you get bored in a business, it's probably because you've solved a lot of problems and things are going well. And now you've decided that you need to create problems to solve because you're bored. So you screw it up. Your goal should be to get to a business to a point of absolute boredom so that it can scale. Okay? Same thing with like your love life. You don't marry the girl that's exciting. Okay? Because like it's like when you go out and you have fun and that you're going to clubs and the sex is amazing, it's probably because that girl has like massive trauma. And that's why she's good in bed. And that's why, and probably the same thing for guys, right? Like it's like just in a different way. Like you want the stable woman. You want the woman who will tell you when you're screwing up. You don't want the one that's going to agree with you and just, you know, throw glitter on your face and a margarita and let's go party at Sandals. Like that's fun, but that's not who you marry. That's not who you put a baby in, you know? And my wife is not as exciting as like some of the girlfriends I've had in that way, but my wife is so much more than that. My wife is stable. My wife is loyal. My wife is a great mother. My wife is the person who will always bring me back to where I need to be and not just tell me what I want to hear. And the exciting girl, and I'm saying from the male perspective, you can mirror this for the female easily. But you know, all those shiny experiences, shiny products, shiny partners and women and shiny this, shiny that, they're shiny because they fizz out quick, right? You want the things that are a bit more boring. You want the things that are stable. You want the loyal woman, not the woman that's going to wear her skirt a centimeter from her friggin' ass, which makes you look like, oh, I got status. I'm walking around with this 9. But then you know as a man that when you go home, you look at her Instagram and every other man can see her ass, you feel horrible,
right?
You know, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. You feel horrible, right? And you try to stuff it down. You try to tell yourself that society says that's cool now, but you feel horrible, right? It's fun, but you feel horrible, okay? And you feel horrible when you create a product that actually sucks, but it sells easy. You feel horrible when you eat that cake that is so good, but you know that tomorrow morning, bye-bye abs, if you even had any. You like, this is a recurring theme. And when you're old, you're not going to look back on life and say, oh, I smashed so much tail. You know, you're not going to look back on life and say, oh, God, that cake was so good that gave me cancer. You're not going to look back. You're not going to look back. You're going to say, what did I do with my life? Do I feel good about it? Because I'm about to go. And my number one goal in life is to not get to my deathbed, look back on my life.
And regret.
And feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And that takes the hard choice to give up the shiny now, take the boring. And I use boring. My wife is not boring. My wife is actually very exciting, just in a non-shiny cocktail dress way, you know? She's exciting in other ways. Very exciting. Like we have these debates and stuff and we go intellectual. But you get what I'm saying, man? You know, and that's what I would tell my son. And I think that's good advice for the world. You want stable, you want loyal, you want kind of boring, because that's what is going to feel good later on.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want shiny, you don't want super exciting, you don't want dopamine, just because when you go after all the exciting, what you're basically saying is I'm addicted to dopamine. Because that's what all those things do for you. They give you a rush of dopamine. You're a drug addict. You may not do cocaine. You may not drink alcohol. You may be completely sober. But if you're always chasing that thing that makes you feel good, you are a drug addict. You are no different than someone who uses a substance. You're just creating the substance in your head.
Wow. Yeah. Well, man, that definitely sounds like somebody who's been through it, who has a ton of wisdom to share basic foundational principles that creates a great life. And I
I'm
definitely
still working on it.
I'm over here like I gotta change what I eat. I gotta wake up a little bit earlier. I mean, I'm getting challenged by what you're saying because I totally resonate with it.
I just been through the bad stuff that
Yeah.
you either haven't been through yet or you haven't realized how bad it is yet.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give you some advice, or anybody.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I don't care how much money you make. I've made a lot of money. I've made millions. I've lost millions. None of that crap matters. It's making good decisions.
Yeah.
Good decisions, and having the discipline to make the decision that doesn't feel good but is good.
Yeah. Man, that's a bar. Well, Dan, I appreciate this conversation. I know it's gone a little bit longer.
Nah, it's all good.
I know we've talked about you dropping some links for people tapping in here. Do you know what those links would be by chance?
Yeah, so I keep a lot of my stuff at getdanshelp.com because, you know, I got different stuff going on, so I put my stuff there.
Yeah.
But if you're specifically interested in speaking, you can go to speaktoscale.com. I got a video there that goes deep and teaches you a lot. And, you know, if you're interested in talking about having us ghostwrite or help you with your events, there's a little calendar below that. If not, just watch the video. There's a ton of fire in it, and that's speaktoscale.com.
Okay, great. Well, guys, this episode was completely fire. I didn't say this in the beginning, which I should have, but I'm going to say it now. You definitely got to take notes. So go back and take notes on this. Book a flight to Dubai. You know, experience what Dan was explaining earlier. And I just want to say this podcast, we're going to do way more episodes like this. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. You connect with Dan. All his links will be right under the show, wherever it's on. And Dan, bro, appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, bro.
Boom.